Is moving one step closer to connecting Southwest Indiana to the rest of the state with I-69 Section 6. INDOT has worked diligently since our last public information meetings back in November and December to consider all factors significant to making that happen, connecting Martinsville to Indianapolis. And to announce I-69 Section 6 most reasonable alternatives, it's my pleasure to introduce to you INDOT Commissioner Randy Hendrickson.
Thank you. So good afternoon. Today's announcement marks the next step forward in better connecting Hoosiers in Southwest Indiana to the rest of our state, improving safety and reducing travel times for Hoosiers traveling from Evansville to Indianapolis and every step in between. I am pleased to announce today that the State Road 37 corridor has been identified as the reasonable alternative for building I-69 between Martinsville and Indianapolis. Of the 5 alternatives that were studied at length by INDOT, the State Road 37 corridor generates the best return on investment for Hoosiers, including economy, safety, traffic flow, and environment. In terms of the economy, once complete, I-69 is projected to generate 4,600 new permanent jobs and more than $3.5 billion in new personal income by 2025. From a safety standpoint, this alternative results in the most reduction in crashes. From traffic flow standpoint, it achieves the greatest reduction in time spent in traffic backups, greatly improved travel time to downtown Indianapolis, and the most improved access for regional trucking and logistics industry. And from an environmental standpoint, this particular alternative is has the lowest impact to wetlands, forests, and farmlands. The State Road 37 corridor requires far less new terrain construction than other alternative studies and impacts the fewest number of homeowners. Input gathered from Hoosiers over more than a decade has shown that a majority supports building I-69 along State Road 37. Comments and recommendations from Hoosiers across central Indiana has been critical in determining this route as the one that will have the most significant positive impact on economic growth and quality of life in central and southwest Indiana. At this point, we are still working to determine the best route within at least a 2,000-foot wide area. It makes sense to reuse as much of the existing State Road 37 pavement and bridges as possible, but the I-69 footprint may still shift east or west to minimize impacts to homes, businesses, or the environment. We want residents and businesses to continue to engage as we better define how I-69 will take shape in the future and in this final segment and produce the best project possible. INDOT is working with residents and businesses across the area to best serve them with proposed interchanges, overpasses, underpasses, and access roads. That collaboration will be even more robust as we move ahead. The question we want you to answer is, how will the project best reflect the context of the community, and what are your priorities?
Thank you, Commissioner, for that announcement. Now, with State Road 37 moving forward, there is a fundamental catalyst to economic development. I would now like to introduce Jim Schellinger, President of the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Jim.
Thank you, Lamar. Good morning. And I want to say a special thanks to Commissioner Hendrickson for all you do for our roads all across our state, but certainly on this project, and for all of you that have worked tirelessly toward the successful completion of the I-69 corridor. I hope that everybody around the state, and certainly I know people in central Indiana and southwest Indiana, are as excited as I am about this, because it's been long overdue. I think it was talked about before I was born, and that was a while ago. So we're very excited that it's come to this point. Because the I-69 corridor, the importance of it cannot be overstated. We are the crossroads of America. We are #1 in the nation in interstate highways. We have 14 of them. We are #2, right up the road, #2, largest FedEx hub in the nation, second largest FedEx hub in the nation. We're #3 in the highest volume of freight movement. So that's, and then logistically, and the Commissioner talked to us a little bit, there's 107 components that the logistics evaluators look at, we're in the top 10 of all 107. And we're in the top 5 of 30 of those categories. So logistics is extremely important. We're the #1 manufacturing state in the nation. And 80% of the manufactured goods that get transferred around our state and out of our state are done by road. So this is going to be just a significant piece of, even I remember a long time ago looking at the state map, you saw there was one thing missing, and it was that leg down to the southwest Indiana. And we're continuing to make significant investments, not only in this project, but in infrastructure around the state. Last fall, the governor unveiled his 21st Century Crossroads Initiative that'll make $1 billion available for road construction around the state with no increase in taxes. And that $1 billion will build upon $3.2 billion that's already targeted and funded for INDOT to do roads and bridges. 16,000 roads repaid and a total of 52 bridges redone. So it's significant. And as it was said just a minute ago, roads means job. It means growth. Not only in the 4,600 new jobs, but in the jobs that will be done along the way for those that are constructing the project. And the new personal income is absolutely fantastic at $3.5 billion. And I can also say without fear of contradiction that access to modern infrastructure is one of the #1 criteria that every single person that's looking to expand their business or bring their business to Indiana, that's what they look at. So this is a significant gap. And now my new assignment, I'm in month 8 as president of Indiana Corporation, and I've been in every corner of the state several times. I've been down to Evansville 9 times in the past 6 months. And I can say without hesitation that if there's a nicer, more functional, more scenic highway than what's gone from I-69 to Bloomington down to Evansville, I have not seen it. It's an absolutely beautiful highway, and we expect it'll be the same as it comes up from Bloomington to Indianapolis. So thank you very much for inviting me here today. Congratulations, Amar. Congratulations, Commissioner Hendrickson, Mayor Meyer, Mayor Cole, on this great accomplishment today.
Thank you, Jim, for that. The selection of State Road 37 for I-69 will have a tremendous impact on the local communities. INDOT has and continues to work with local leaders to find the best way for I-69 and how it can service their communities. That collaboration will, of course, continue as we move forward. I would now like to introduce to you Mayor Shannon Cole of the City of Martinsville.
Good afternoon. We would like to thank everyone for the partnership that INDOT has forged with Martinsville. We appreciate INDOT listening to our concerns. They allowed numerous public meetings and met with officials on a regular basis, giving us the opportunity to share our concerns as well as respecting our vision for the city of Martinsville. Major road infrastructure projects like this are critically important for Martinsville's economic development. We can now plan accordingly, while for so long we were left in somewhat limbo. We also anticipating moving forward with INDOT as the gateway to the south for the state of Indiana. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Cole. I would now like to introduce Mayor Mark Myers with the City of Greenwood.
Good afternoon, Madam Commissioner. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I can't tell you what an exciting time this is for the City of Greenwood. As over the past 5 years, we've watched as this process has taken place. We've watched how it's moved through the State House to be allowed to consider State Road 37. And as the city as a whole has worked to progress towards this final result, you know, the City of Greenwood, we do have a lot of manufacturing. We do have a lot of truck traffic in and out. And now that this route is selected, we know that the east-west corridor that we are working on building will connect I-69 to State Road 135 and US 31, I-65, and all the way clear out to Interstate 74. This is a huge win for the city of Greenwood. It's a huge win for the residents of Greenwood and for the businesses that we have in Greenwood. And also the businesses, as we talk about economic development and how we are continuing to look to build the south and the west ends of our city, this is a huge impact and a huge bonus that we're going to have as we bring in the extra business into our community. So we're very excited, we're very thankful, and I want to thank you all for being here today too. Thank you.
Mayor Myers for that. The new I-69 from Martinsville to Indianapolis, as we just mentioned, will help boost communities through new businesses along the corridor. The business community will have an impact needed to bring those new jobs and personal incomes, as we just mentioned, to the local communities. I would now like to introduce Kevin Brenniger, President and CEO of the Indiana Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Lamar, and good afternoon, everyone. As he mentioned, I serve as President and CEO of the Indiana Chamber of Commerce, and this interstate is critically important to economic development and economic growth in our state. I'm also wearing another hat today, and that is Chairman of the Board of Hoosier Voices for I-69. And Hoosier Voices has been the advocacy group for well over 20 years, calling for and advocating for an interstate highway connection from Evansville to Indianapolis. And so we couldn't be more pleased to be here today supporting the decision of INDOT to move I-69 forward along the 37 corridor. It's somewhat amazing to me that just over a year ago, we were looking at 27 different alternatives to get from Martinsville, the south side of Martinsville, up to 465 in Indianapolis. And I want to thank and commend INDOT for a very thorough and very thoughtful process that has narrowed those various alternatives down. They held multiple meetings and work sessions and gave everyone in these communities and from the business community input into the decision making. And then as the alternatives and the routes were narrowed down, they did some very detailed analysis. And you see behind Lamar here the metrics that show and demonstrate in a very data-driven way that the 37 corridor is the best corridor based on a whole litany of factors. And I think INDOT has demonstrated that very well, that this was a very thoughtful process. And so on behalf of the Indiana Chamber of Commerce and Hoosier Voices for I-69, we support INDOT's decision and believe that the 37 corridor is the best route for connecting I-69 from Martinsville to Indianapolis. And we are pleased, particularly with the progress and the speed with which INDOT has moved this, but yet also in a very thorough and thoughtful way. So thank you very much, Commissioner.
Thank you, Kevin, for that. As you can tell, INDOT is proud of the work that we've done to get to this point of selecting State Road 37. We would like to thank INDOT Commissioner for the announcement and all of our speakers for their continued support as we move forward with the process. We will now open up to the media to talk to our speakers on a one-on-one interview. We also have some flash drives for you all to take back with you. Thank you.